Good afternoon. All right. Yeah, so I'm Games Commissioner at Channel 4, have been for the last 5 years, and also head up what's essentially turned into an indie publishing arm, All 4 Games. So we get a lot of people, a lot of developers coming to us, either looking for funding, looking for us to commission a Channel 4 property into a game, or just indie developers that have got a great little game, not necessarily linked to a Channel 4 show, but they're just looking for help with the publishing side of what we can do. And there's a number of things that we see fairly regularly through literally hundreds of those sorts of meetings every year. So I wanted to take you through some of the basics and hopefully see some of you on the other side of a meeting table sometime before too long, not making these mistakes. So actually before that, my background, 26, 27 years in games, producing the first games on 8-bit computers, producer on the first couple of Grand Theft Autos, helped found Real Time Worlds up in Dundee. So I've kind of been around a bit, kind of done a little bit on every type of platform. And although in the last 5 years I've been on the publisher investor side of the fence, prior to that it was pretty much all development. So kind of get to see the games industry from both sides. The first and arguably most important thing a lot of people get wrong is their elevator pitch. That people think this is an outdated concept that was just for use in the 60s and big corporate companies where you only ever met the boss going up in an elevator. But the way to remember the importance of this is that when you go into a pitch, you'll spend 20 minutes, half an hour speaking to someone, telling them about your game, your idea. But it's very likely that the person you're speaking to is not the real decision maker. It's very likely that person has to go away, and even if they love your idea, they have to get someone else to buy into it. They have to get their manager, their head of department or whatever to buy into it. And what they're going to do is they're going to take that 1 hour meeting with you and they're going to summarize it in a sentence or two. And they're going to summarize your game and everything you spent an hour carefully crafting. And they're going to repeat that 1 or 2 sentences to their finance manager, board, whatever. So that 1 or 2 sentence, make sure those are your words, not theirs. And it essentially boils down to your elevator pitch. Summarize your game in a couple of sentences, repeat it, start, middle, and end of the presentation, ram it home through everything so that when the person you've sold to is trying to sell your concept, make sure they're fairly representing you. Play to your strengths. So this is something we get quite a lot, where we get a generic Shoreditch digital agency coming into me and going, "Oh, you make games? Yeah, we can make games." And I go, "All right, great. What type of games can you make?" "Oh, anything. We can make any type of game you want, Colin." Well, I mean, technically that's true, but in the same way that it's true of any type of entertainment medium. I mean, I can. It's a long time since I've programmed, but technically I could program a game tonight. Or I could write a book tonight, or I could shoot a film tonight, or I could compose an album. They would all be crap, and you shouldn't ever commission me to write a book in a night, or any of those other things. But technically, it's possible. And the thing that's essentially the secret to my success at Channel 4, don't tell anyone other than the 200 of you and the people watching this on recorded catch-up, is I'll commission people to play to their strengths. So if I want a driving game, I'll go to someone that's made some great driving games, and they know how to make a great driving game, and they've learned all those mistakes. I'm not going to commission someone that's only ever made match 3s, and vice versa. And the net result is I get a better game, and the developer gets to build on what they've already done and makes an even better game, and they look better. Whereas if in a lapse of sanity I did commission one of these generic Shoreditch digital agencies to make something for me, I'd have been out of a job years ago, None of my games would have had millions of downloads. None of them would have won awards. So play to your strengths. If you've got a passion for a genre, for a topic, for a theme, play to that strength. Align the demographics. Again, just think about who the game's for. A lot of the time people don't do that, and it's a very simple fact. Just get people to think about, I'm making a game for kids, therefore it's this sort of game. I'm making a game for young females, therefore it's this sort of game. Get on an effing plane. When I started at Channel 4, I thought I would disproportionately commission in Scotland because I knew all the Scottish games companies well. And actually, because a lot of the commissioning decisions are made out of London, even though I'm based here in Glasgow, I've commissioned very few games out of Scotland, because even when I'm in Glasgow, very few people come through from Dundee to see me, because it's a very long way from Dundee. I mean, it's like an hour and 20 minutes on the train. But yeah, all those generic Shoreditch agencies, they're on our doorstep every day pitching for business. They're hungry for business. Too many developers think all they've got to do is be great and make a great game and the money comes to them. It doesn't. Making a great game is hugely important, but you've still got to go out and pitch for money, pitch for business. So get on a plane or a train or an automobile. Have something that's amazing, have something that people look at very quickly and makes them go wow. Think about the initial experience. When I started at Channel 4, I looked at Channel 4's last game it had launched before I came, and in the first 60 seconds of playing it, 90% of players had stopped playing it. So it didn't matter how well they marketed it, they were losing 90% of that within 60 seconds, because on mobile there was no investment. People weren't spending 40 quid to buy the box. So focus very hard on retention. Production values, we're mostly focused on mobile, so production value is hugely important. People look at your screenshots, people show each other down the pub, which you can't do on console, just to have a quick look at what someone else is playing on a phone. So it has to look amazing. Amazing mechanics and great gameplay experience are hugely important as well, but if it looks like shit, it's a much harder sell to get someone new to download it. Sorry, this is the same retention point. Time is of the essence. Another mistake we often see is people having amazing concepts and doing a brilliant job getting something up and running to prototype, to alpha, and then taking years to ever get anywhere with it. Have a bit of sort of minimum viable product sense about what you're doing. Better to ship a game that's not quite perfect than never to ship at all. And then certainly if you're looking at mobile, don't underestimate App Store optimization. This is something we spend a lot of time on, playing around with icons, making sure enough people rate the game, because when you see a game's got 100 ratings, it's a much safer bet to download that game, because you know at least 100 people have downloaded it. If a game's got no ratings, people are much, much less likely to download it. So think about the title of the game, hugely important. There's a chap, Clifsky, I've forgotten his proper name, Google Clifsky, has great advice on your first decision about making the game is what it should be called. Before you write a line of code, think about what your game's called, because that's your single best marketing tool. And again, you don't want to be making an amazing game that no one bothers to download. And don't ever fall for that old Kevin Costner Field of Dreams nonsense about building it and they'll come. Again, this comes back to this situation I see too many times where people, really, really talented and hard-working developers, make amazing, beautiful games that no one ever sees, because it's so difficult. With Unity and everything else, it's relatively easy to make a game now, so lots more people are doing it. Your competition's stiffer, even if you're better than them. If your audience doesn't know about your game, they can never experience it. So take the marketing side of it very seriously. Have your own marketing plan. speak to us if we can help, or we'll try and point you in the direction of other publishers, press, etc., etc. But please, please, don't. If you're going to make an amazing game, tell as many people as you possibly can about it. And that's essentially me. Thank you.